From New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. Hoisting the tricolour from the Red Fort in New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on self-reliance to make India developed by 2047, the centenary year of India's independence. Prime Minister Modi announces Sudarshan Chakra mission, a powerful Made in India shield to protect India. Also unveils Pradhan Mantri Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana, the youth employment scheme worth 1 lakh crore rupees. Prime Minister also announces next generation trade tax or GST reforms by Diwali, a push for Made in India jet engines and energy independence. Greetings pour in on India's 79th Independence Day from across the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin hails the country's developmental strides and well-deserved respect on the global stage. And the much-anticipated one-on-one meeting between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, all set to take place in Alaska later today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hoisted the tricolour at the Red Fort in Delhi as the nation celebrates its 79th Independence Day on Friday. Flying officer Rashika Sharma assisted the Prime Minister in hoisting the flag, after which flower petals were showered from two Mi-17 helicopters of the Indian Air Force, one carrying the national flag and the other Operation Sindoor's logo. Wing Commander Vinay Punia and Wing Commander Aditya Jaiswal piloted these aircraft. Prime Minister Modi was received at the Red Fort by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Minister of State Defence Sanjay Seth and the chiefs of the three defence services. The Prime Minister also received the ceremonial Guard of Honour by the National Flag Guard, the Indian Air Force, the Indian Army, the Indian Navy and Delhi Police, totalling up to 128 personnel. Wing Commander Arun Nagar led the Inter-Services Guard of Honour. A total of 2,500 cadets from the Army, Navy and Air Force, along with My Bharat volunteers, were seated on Gyanpath opposite the ramparts of the Red Fort, forming the Naya Bharat or New India logo. Thereafter, as is symbolic, Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered a nearly 2-hour-long speech, his 12th consecutive address on Independence Day from the Red Fort. Marking the 79th Independence Day, the Prime Minister touched upon many subjects throughout his speech, with key areas being self-reliance or Atmanirbharta, Operation Sindoor, India's response to the Pahalgam terror attack, and India's Viksit Bharat vision, a vision for developed India by 2047 when it completes 100 years of its independence. So from making India's first semiconductor chip to building jet engines, from tenfold nuclear expansion to a 1 lakh crore rupee youth employment scheme, Prime Minister Modi's message was clear. Bharat will define its own destiny, set its own terms and aim unapologetically to become a developed country by 2047. So Prime Minister Modi launched a major employment scheme worth 1 lakh crore rupees, which will create 3.5 crore new employment opportunities for the youth of the country. Under this scheme, Viksit Bharat Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, newly employed youth will receive 15,000 rupees upon being employed by the private sector. The scheme aims to benefit 3 crore young Indians, strengthening the bridge from Swatantra Bharat to Samriddha Bharat.
आज 15 अगस्त है। आज 15 अगस्त के ही दिन मेरे देश के युवाओं के लिए 1,00,000 करोड़ रुपए की योजना हम चालू कर रहे हैं, लागू कर रहे हैं। आज से प्रधानमंत्री विकसित भारत रोजगार योजना आज ही 15 अगस्त को लागू हो रही है। ये आपके लिए बहुत खुशखबरी है। इस योजना के तहत निजी क्षेत्र में पहली नौकरी पाने वाले नौजवान को, बेटे बेटी को 15,000 रुपया सरकार की तरफ से दिए जाएंगे। कंपनियों को भी नए रोजगार देने के अवसर जो भी ज्यादा जुटाएगा, उनको भी प्रोत्साहन राशि दी जाएगी। प्रधानमंत्री विकसित भारत रोजगार योजना करीब करीब 3.5 करोड़ नौजवानों को रोजगार के नए अवसर बनाएगी।
So thereafter, Prime Minister Modi announced that next generation GST reforms will be unveiled on Diwali. This will reduce taxes on essential goods and would provide relief to micro, small and medium enterprises, local vendors and consumers.
इस दिवाली में आपकी डबल दिवाली का काम मैं करने वाला हूं। इस दिवाली में आपको एक बहुत बड़ा तोहफा देशवासियों को मिलने वाला है। पिछले 8 साल से हमने जीएसटी का बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया। पूरे देश में टैक्स के बर्डन को कम किया, टैक्स की व्यवस्थाओं को सरल किया और 8 साल के बाद समय की मांग है कि हम एक बार उसको रिव्यू करें। हमने एक हाई पावर कमेटी को बिठा करके रिव्यू शुरू किया, राज्यों से भी विचार विमर्श किया और मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं। ये दिवाली के अंदर आपके लिए तोहफा बन जाएंगे। सामान्य मानवीय की जरूरतों के टैक्स भारी मात्रा में कम कर दिए जाएंगे। बहुत बड़ी सुविधा बढ़ेगी। हमारे एमएसएमई, हमारे लघु उद्यमी, इनको बहुत बड़ा लाभ मिलेगा। रोजमर्रा की चीजें बहुत सस्ती हो जाएगी।
Prime Minister Modi has also unveiled an ambitious national security initiative called Mission Sudarshan Chakra. It is aimed at protecting India's critical establishments over the next decade through indigenous technological development within the coming decade. The initiative is expected to encompass a multi-layered security framework integrating advanced surveillance, cyber protection and physical infrastructure safeguards tailored to India's evolving threat landscape.
2035 तक राष्ट्र के सभी महत्वपूर्ण स्थलों, जिनमें सामरिक के साथ साथ सिविलियन क्षेत्र भी शामिल है, जैसे अस्पताल हो, रेलवे हो, जो भी आस्था के केंद्र हो, उन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी के नए प्लेटफॉर्म द्वारा पूरी तरह सुरक्षा का कवच दिया जाएगा। ये सुरक्षा का कवच लगातार विस्तार होता जाए, देश का हर नागरिक सुरक्षित महसूस करे। किसी भी प्रकार की टेक्नोलॉजी हम पर वार करने आ जाए, हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी उससे बेहतर सिद्ध हो। और इसलिए आने वाले 10 साल 2035 तक मैं ये राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा कवच का विस्तार करना चाहता हूं, मजबूती देना चाहता हूं, आधुनिक बनाना चाहता हूं। और इसलिए भगवान श्री कृष्ण से प्रेरणा पाकर के हमने श्री कृष्ण का जो सुदर्शन चक्र था, उस सुदर्शन चक्र की राह को चुना है।
So recalling how attempts to set up semiconductor factories 50, 60 years ago were killed at birth while other nations prospered, Prime Minister Modi announced that India is now on a mission mode, and by the end of this year, the nation will roll out its first Made in India semiconductor chip.
21वीं सदी टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन सेंचुरी है। हम जब टेक्नोलॉजी के अलग अलग आयामों की बात करते हैं तो मैं आपका ध्यान आकर्षित करता हूं सेमीकंडक्टर्स पे। उदाहरण के तौर पे बताता हूं, 50-60 साल पहले सेमीकंडक्टर को लेकर के फाइलें शुरू हुई। 50-60 साल पहले फैक्ट्री का विचार चालू हुआ। आप मेरे नौजवानों जानकर के हैरान हो जाएंगे, आज सेमीकंडक्टर जो पूरी दुनिया की एक ताकत बन गया है, 50-60 साल पहले वो विचार, वो फाइलें अटक गई, लटक गई, अटक गई। सेमीकंडक्टर के विचार की ही भ्रूण हत्या हो गई। 50-60 साल गवा दी। हमारे बाद कई देश सेमीकंडक्टर में आज महारत हासिल करके दुनिया में अपनी ताकत को प्रस्थापित कर।
Prime Minister Modi made a dramatic announcement that just like how we made vaccines during COVID-19 pandemic and UPI for our digital payments, we should build our own jet engines too for our Atmanirbharta, and he asked the scientists and youth of the country to take this up as a direct challenge. Prime Minister Narendra Modi further touched upon these subjects because manufacturing aero engines remains a challenge for India, and the country often takes these engines from global firms to develop this critical capability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also in his speech touched on key areas like that of Operation Sindoor, India's response to the Pahalgam terror attack. PM Modi saluted the brave soldiers, saying that Operation Sindoor is a powerful testament to the valor and precision of country's armed forces.
मुझे बहुत गर्व हो रहा है, आज मुझे लाल किले की प्राचीर से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के वीर जाबाजों को सैल्यूट करने का अवसर मिला है। हमारे वीर जाबाज सैनिकों ने दुश्मनों को उनकी कल्पना से परे सजा दी है। और इस अपील को पहलगाम में सीमा पार से आतंकियों ने आकर के जिस प्रकार का कत्ले आम किया, धर्म पूछ करके लोगों को मारा गया, पति के सामने पति को गोलियां दी, बच्चों के सामने अपने पिता को मौत के घाट उतार दिया गया। पूरा हिंदुस्तान आक्रोश से भरा हुआ था। पूरा विश्व भी इस प्रकार से संहार से चौंक गया था। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर उसी आक्रोश की अभिव्यक्ति है। 22 तारीख के बाद हमने हमारे सेना को खुली छूट दे दी। रणनीति वो तय करे, लक्ष्य वो तय करे, समय भी वो चुने, और हमारी सेना ने वो करके दिखाया जो कई दशकों तक कभी हुआ नहीं था। सैकड़ों किलोमीटर दुश्मन की धरती पर घुस करके आतंकी इमारतों को खंडहर बना दिया। पाकिस्तान की नींद अभी भी उड़ी हुई है। पाकिस्तान में हुई तबाही इतनी बड़ी है कि रोज नए नए खुलासे हो रहे हैं, नई नई जानकारियां आ रही हैं।
Prime Minister Modi hailed the abrogation of Article 370, saying how the mantra of one nation, one constitution was accepted. He reiterated India's new anti-terror policy, where the country will not differentiate between terrorists and those who support them.
हमारा देश कई दशकों से आतंक को झेलता आया हुआ, देश के सीने को छलनी कर दिया गया है। अब हमने एक न्यू नॉर्मल प्रस्थापित किया। आतंक को और आतंकी को पालने पोसने वालों को, आतंकियों को ताकत देने वालों को अब हम अलग अलग नहीं मानेंगे। वो मानवता के समान दुश्मन है, उनके बीच कोई फर्क नहीं है। अब भारत ने तय कर लिया है कि न्यूक्लियर की धमकियों को अब हम सहने वाले नहीं हैं। न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल लंबे अरसे से चलाया, अब वो ब्लैकमेल नहीं सहा जाएगा। आगे भी अगर दुश्मनों ने ये कोशिश जारी रखी, हमारी सेना तय करेगी, सेना की शर्तों पर, सेना जो समय निर्धारित करे उस समय पर, सेना जो तौर तरीके तय करे उस तौर तरीके से, सेना जो लक्ष्य तय करे उस लक्ष्य को अब हम अमल में ला करके रहने वाले हैं। हम मुंह तोड़ जवाब देंगे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has delivered 11 consecutive Independence Day speeches from the ramparts of Delhi's Red Fort. Well, this tally goes to 12 today. So in these years, Prime Minister has touched upon a lot of things, from health, cleanliness, obesity, agriculture, economy, and of course, self-reliance. Let's take a listen to some of Prime Minister Modi's key takeaways from the ramparts of the Red Fort.
मैं आज लाल किले की प्राचीर से विश्व भर में लोगों से कहना चाहता हूं, कम मेक इन इंडिया। हमारे पास स्किल है, टैलेंट है, डिसिप्लिन है, कुछ कर गुजरने का इरादा है। हम विश्व को एक सानुकूल अवसर देना चाहते हैं कि आइए, कम मेक इन इंडिया। आने वाले दिनों में कृषि के लिए जैसे योजना बनेगी, वैसे किसान कल्याण की भी योजना बनेगी, जाकि मेरे किसान को जो व्यक्तिगत जीवन में समस्याएं झेलनी पड़ती है, मुसीबतों से गुजरना पड़ता है, तो सरकार एक स्थायी व्यवस्था के रूप में उसको मदद करने की दिशा में प्रयास करेगा। साफ नीति, स्पष्ट नीति, साफ नियत, स्पष्ट नियत होती है, तब निर्णय करने का जज्बा भी कुछ और होता है। 3 तलाक से पीड़ित बहनों ने पूरे देश में एक आंदोलन खड़ा किया, देश के बुद्धिजीवी वर्ग को हिला दिया, देश के मीडिया ने भी उनकी मदद की। पूरे देश में 3 तलाक के खिलाफ एक माहौल निर्माण हुआ। इस आंदोलन को चलाने वाली मेरी बहनों को जो 3 तलाक के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ रही है, मैं हृदय से उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं। पूरे देश में ये प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य अभियान लॉन्च कर दिया जाएगा और उसका परिणाम ये होने वाला है कि देश के गरीब व्यक्ति में बीमारी के संकट से जूझना नहीं पड़ेगा, उसको साहूकार से पैसा ब्याज से नहीं लेना पड़ेगा, उसका परिवार तबाह नहीं हो जाएगा। आर्टिकल 370 के कारण, 35A के कारण कुछ रुकावटें भी आई। आज लाल किले से जब मैं देश को संबोधित कर रहा हूं, तब मैं ये गर्व के साथ कहता हूं कि आज हर हिंदुस्तानी कह सकता है, 1 नेशन 1 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। ये राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति हमारे विद्यार्थियों को जड़ से जोड़ेगी, लेकिन साथ साथ उसको एक ग्लोबल सिटीजन बनाने का भी पूरा सामर्थ्य देगी। वो जड़ों से जुड़ा होगा, लेकिन उसका सर आसमान की ऊंचाइयों को छूता होगा। आप कल्पना कीजिए, अगर भारत के पास अपनी वैक्सीन नहीं होती तो क्या होता। लेकिन आज गौरव से कह सकते हैं कि दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम हमारे देश में चल रहा है। आज दुनिया जब होलिस्टिक हेल्थ केयर की चर्चा करती है तो उसकी नजर भारत के योग पर जाती है, भारत के आयुर्वेद, भारत की होलिस्टिक लाइफस्टाइल के पर जाती है। ये हमारी विरासत है, हम जो दुनिया को दे रहे हैं। आने वाले 25 साल हम एक ही मंत्र को लेकर चले, ये हमारे राष्ट्रीय चरित्र के सिरमौर होना चाहिए। एकता का संदेश, भारत की एकता को जीना, भारत की एकता को आंच आए, न ऐसी मेरी भाषा होगी, न ऐसा मेरा कोई कदम होगा। ये जो कायाकल्प किया, उसका सबसे बड़ा लाभ समाज के उन वर्गों तक हम पहुंचे हैं जो ग्रामीण सड़कें वहां बनी है जिनकी तरफ कोई देखता नहीं था, जिस इलाकों को नहीं देखता था, जिन गांवों को नहीं देखता था। दलित हो, पीड़ित हो, शोषित हो, वंचित हो, पिछड़े हो, आदिवासी हो, जंगल में रहने वाले हो, दूर सुदूर पहाड़ों में रहने वाले हो, सीमावर्ती स्थान पर रहने वाले हो, हमने उनकी आवश्यकता की पूर्ति की है।
Bold vision for developed India by 2047. That has been the clarion call of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And to discuss all this, we have with us Subimal Bhattacharjee, IT and technology expert. He joins us with me in the studio now. Welcome, sir, to the program. Well, what we saw is very important announcements made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The ultimate goal is to make India developed by our centenary year of independence. So all these announcements made today, Viksit Bharat, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, in which every youth will get 15,000 rupees upon being employed by the private sector. Your take on this very welcome scheme?
Yeah, I think every Independence Day speech that the Prime Minister has given, 11 of them, have been very motivational for a cross-section of the citizens. And particularly if you see, the youths have a special space in his, commitment and scheme of things. So if you look at this, unemployment remains always a big issue. And the changing dimensions of employment is even a bigger issue. With tech coming, with many avenues of new employment opportunities coming, how you carry the nation forward, how do you motivate people to come into newer areas from the traditional ways in which, our society has evolved. Typically, you would have seen that in most houses, people would think, oh, either he should be an engineer or a doctor if he's good in science, or maybe, become a lawyer if he's not good in science. Now, how do you take people out of only that thinking and go into newer areas? So that is where I think this scheme is very, very good, because if you are seeing that in the private sector, if they are absorbing newer people and if government is trying to give them a certain kind of support or incentive, I think it gives them motivation to look at newer areas, to grow, to perform and all. So, and it's a motivator for a larger number of people who are already not in the system. So I think these are very, very, I would say, inspiring moments that we take away from the Prime Minister's
Minister's
speech.
Okay. Let me also now welcome Professor KG Suresh, senior journalist, joining us on the show now. KG Suresh ji, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today also spoke about Mission Sudarshan Chakra, aimed at increasing safety and developing a more powerful weapon system for the nation's security. How do you see this mission and its military significance?
Absolutely, it is very significant, Tanvi, for the simple reason that during the recent conflict with our neighboring country, we saw that how our air defense systems were able to thwart any attempt by the enemy to, send missiles to this country, to target, military installations, civilian installations. None of their drones could, effectively deliver, and they all failed because we had an air defense system. But at the same time, it was felt that today, whenever you see whether it is in the Russia-Ukraine conflict or the recent conflict between Iran and Israel, or you see what is happening, between Israel and the other countries in West Asia, you find that now technology is no more about infantry. It is about, the war, the conflict is about high-end technology. And it is but natural that the Prime Minister has said that, that we are going to develop such a system which would ensure, because obviously whenever the next, because we have only, called for we have accepted a ceasefire. It is a ceasefire. So the Operation Sindoor is still on so far as India is concerned. And God forbid, tomorrow the enemy, because the General Field Marshal Asif Munir has been making all kinds of statements resorting to tantamounting to nuclear blackmail. So the Prime Minister has referred to that also, that we will not succumb to any nuclear blackmail. But at the same time, they can, to distract domestic attention, they can resort to cheap tactics. And to thwart that, it is very essential that we secure our assets, our national assets, our nuclear arsenal, our power plants, our railways, our major infrastructure, and of course our people. So this Sudarshan Chakra is being seen largely as an air defense system, and of course supported by the call that he has made for the clarion call he has made for preparing manufacturing jet engines in this country, because the Prime Minister has believed in the capacity of the private sector. We have seen in the last 1 decade or so active participation of the private sector in the critical areas, including defense and space technology. And we believe that this Prime Minister's Viksit Bharat Yojana also talks about boosting the private sector and also giving a message to the youth at large that their entire this clamor which we have had in the initial years of independence and which is still there for government jobs. So the whole idea is also to say that, look, there are very, very innovative, creative occupations which are available in the private sector too. And that is why the private sector the government alone cannot be the employment provider. So the focus is on entrepreneurship, on enterprise. The focus is on, the private sector. So I think they are all interlinked, So I believe that this, I would look at this entire today's speech, which was of 103 minutes, perhaps the longest by any Prime Minister in the history of this country. I think that it was full of, our ambitious plans, the road ahead for us on our way to become a Viksit Bharat. And of course, in the short term, a lot of Diwali gifts he has announced in advance.
Indeed, indeed. Let me take this to Subimal Bhattacharjee now. Yes, a lot of, ambitious looking approach, looking at the geopolitical realities of the day. Now, as he mentioned, that semiconductor chips, when they were first introduced by the previous government, the idea was killed at birth. So he wants a made in India semiconductor chip to be launched by the end of the year. He wants made in India jet engines, and he also wants to reduce India's energy dependence, because that is what is the concern geopolitically as of now. So is he trying to put India's economic engine in top gear now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the focus is that how do you take advantage of the strength that is available in the country. And as Professor Suresh was also telling, even around, if you look at the way Mission Sudarshan Chakra is being, mentioned by the Prime Minister, and the capability and capacity of technology absorption, technology development in the country, I think this is the perfect time, where you are able to fuse data from so many different sources, whether from space or from your coastal security or any kind of, these devices that work on IoT and all. Now, taking in cybersecurity, factoring in AI, all of that, I think that's something that is very much in the anvil. And that's where semiconductor becomes very, very important. The government had already got 6 of the efforts already, functioning. 4 more were just recently cleared by the cabinet. So in a very short span of time, we are going to have this 10, semiconductor facilities across the country. It's just not confined to areas that you see technology development has happened. Say Hyderabad, Bangalore, or maybe somewhere around Gurgaon. Even in Assam, much outside of Guwahati, as semiconductor plant by the Tata with an investment of 27,000 crores have come up. So he has been not only able to give the policy support, he has been also able to get the private sector also to go and invest in a huge way in these facilities. Now, once you have your own semiconductor chips, which go into all of the systems, which have their own criticality, you also then get into the other aspects of making programs and making different functionalities that work based on the algorithms on those chips. So those chips ensure your security, and at the same time, what you build in your country and run it, that also is secure. So the idea is basically to take this country to a secure ecosystem where you protect everything with a Sudarshan Chakra kind of an entity, as he has mentioned. In that, you bring your own equipments, you bring your own people, you bring your own algorithms, and that is where the focus on Atmanirbharta, on indigenous capabilities around defense, on indigenous capabilities around security systems, on indigenous capabilities around cyber security, on AI, all of these things come into play. Remember, this is a country, today 7% of its GDP is from the IT or tech sector. This is huge. What was it even 10 years back? And the way the people have been taken in to be able to use the technology, feel empowered. Look at UPI, what a story. People are not literate, but they are financially, digitally literate, because a shopkeeper right in any remote corner of the country is today using UPI. So these are the kind of thing that you are also carrying your people. So I think the whole ecosystem of taking India to the, Viksit Bharat 2047, everything falls in place when you have such kind of programs. It's not ambitious, I would say, because you have the capabilities. Possibly you have islands of capabilities. The Prime Minister is connecting them all together, and that is what a government should do.
Yes, carrying people along. Professor Suresh, in his speech, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlined that farmers, livestock keepers and fishermen are the government's top priority, and that the government will stand like a wall against any policy that threatens their interests. Would you like to contextualize this for us?
Well, absolutely. I think it is very clear, isn't it? It's a writing on the wall, when it comes to tariffs, which the United States, is imposing on us, or as and hike this tariff on Indian goods. So I believe that this is a response that no self-respecting country can accept it, and particularly India has always had a consistent stand, with regard to farmers' rights. India has, and more so the Modi government in the last over a decade or so, where they have steadfastly refused to oblige the Western countries so far as cheap imports of dairy and other items are concerned. They never allowed India to become a dumping ground to, fatten their farmers, which we have never allowed. We have always looked at the larger interests of our farming community, our marginalized farmers. So you would see that we have, on the one hand, domestically, we are trying to boost in terms of their farm incomes, their minimum support price we are trying to give. We are trying to increase productivity. We are trying to, through soil testing and other means, we are providing them seeds. We are providing them all possible assistance to grow multiple crops in a year. Yet, at the same time, we are also protecting them from, from India becoming a dumping ground for goods from other developed countries, which we have fought it hard, whether it is WTO, GATT earlier, and all that. We have fought it like anything, and we are very consistent. And this time also, I think that whether it is US or whether it is Europe, I think that India is very clear that it is its national interests are paramount with regard to even import of oil. We are very clear. On the one hand, we are certainly looking at enhancing our energy security, but at the same time, we are looking at more deep sea explorations. We are looking at, the Prime Minister also referred to critical minerals. Particularly in northeast states, there are very, very critical minerals which are available and which we can certainly harness in terms of technology. They would be very helpful, and there is a huge demand for that even in the West. So these are areas where India is going to, so that its energy security is protected. We also ensure that whether it is oil purchasing, whether it is from Russia or Iran, we are very clear that our national interests are paramount, and we need to, our energy security is paramount, and our people, they should not be cough up a huge amount to pay for this just to please one or two countries. That won't happen. And I think the message today was, earlier also India had reiterated that, and today the message has been made loud and clear by the Prime Minister himself from the ramparts of the Red Fort.
Yes, as it is said, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into visible, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given us a lot of ambitious goals. Of course, he has asked the youth to work towards making India developed by 2047. Would like to thank Professor Suresh Bimal Bhattacharjee for being with us and helping us understand what all has been said from the ramparts of the Red Fort today by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Thank you for being with us on the show. All right, President Draupadi Murmu paid tributes to the brave hearts at Delhi's National War Memorial on Independence Day, honouring those who made the supreme sacrifice in the armed conflicts of independent India. The President was accompanied by Chief of Defence Staff Anil Chauhan, Chief of Air Staff Amarpreet Singh, Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi and Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh Tripathi, with all five of them marching to the memorial while being drenched in heavy rain. The wreath was also carried by two women Air Force officers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Union Minister of State for Defence Sanjay Seth were also present at the War Memorial. So as India celebrates the 79th Independence Day, one wonders, how do we tell the story of India of a billion people? One way would be to go back in time and remember its independence movement. In the process of that struggle, India also discovered its voice, its identity, and a vision for a future of freedom.
The story of India's freedom movement is vibrant and multifaceted as India itself, a fight against 2 centuries of British colonial rule, culminating in India's independence on August 15, 1947. It took countless sacrifices to realize the vision of a free sovereign nation, a nation built upon the principles of equality and fraternity, a nation that became home to breathtaking diversity of peoples, ideas, cultures, and faiths. Many historians identify the revolt of 1857 as India's first war of independence against British rule. It began as a mutiny of Indian soldiers in the British East India Company's army, but quickly escalated into a broader uprising involving various sections of Indian society. The revolt was triggered by a combination of factors, including the introduction of grease cartridges for rifles, which were offensive to both Hindu and Muslim sepoys, and broader grievances against British policies and rule. If the leadership of India's freedom revolution had a face, it would perhaps be Mahatma Gandhi, not only because Gandhi dedicated his life to the cause of independence, but also how he gently yet resolutely shaped the collective consciousness of the nation through the values of peace and non-violence. He gave the message of Swadeshi or self-reliance that fundamentally reoriented India's resistance against economic subjugation by colonial powers. From Champaran Satyagraha of 1917 that involved mobilizing the masses against exploitation of indigo peasants to all-pervasive Quit India movement of 1942, a rejection of British rule, Gandhi's leadership played a decisive role in the dawn of freedom in India in 1947. India's freedom movement witnessed a galaxy of leaders who left an indelible mark on the history and future of the nation. There is no single road to freedom. While Mahatma Gandhi championed non-violent resistance, leaders like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Ashfaqullah Khan advocated for more radical methods to overthrow the British. They felt that a more forceful approach to freedom was necessary. There was emphasis on armed struggle and revolutionary action, seeing it as a more direct and effective path to liberation. Netaji revived the Indian National Army in 1943 to take on the British. His slogan of "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga," that is, "Give me blood and I will give you freedom," reinvigorated passion for freedom in people across the nation. Bhagat Singh avenged the death of freedom fighter Lala Lajpat Rai by killing a British police officer. He was also involved in the bombings in Central Legislative Assembly. Bhagat Singh, along with Shivaram Rajguru and Sukhdev Thapar, was hanged by the British in 1931 at Lahore. He was 23. India's freedom struggle may have been led from Delhi, but it was fought in every corner of the nation. In small towns, remote villages, generations of men and women, ordinary individuals who displayed extraordinary courage to fight the colonial oppressor. Many names of freedom luminaries are lost in the pages of history. Rani Gaidinlu from Manipur, a Naga spiritual and political leader, at the age of 13 she joined the Heraka religious movement. The movement later turned into a political movement seeking to drive out the British from Manipur and the surrounding Naga areas. She was arrested in 1932 at the age of 16 and was sentenced to life imprisonment by the British. Birsa Munda from Jharkhand is known for his role in fighting for tribal rights and challenging the British rule in India. Birsa Munda asserted rights of the tribals as the real proprietors of the soil and the expulsion of the middlemen and the British. Thirupur Kumaran from Tamil Nadu founded Desabandhu Youth Association and led protests against the British.
He died from injuries sustained from a police assault on a protest march in 1932. At the time of his death, he was holding the flag of Indian nationalists, which had been banned by the British. He was 27. India's independence inspired many others in Southeast Asia and Africa. Many were influenced by the use of non-violent resistance. Countries like Myanmar, Indonesia, Ghana, Kenya, and Sri Lanka were among those most visibly impacted. An indebted nation remembers its countless revolutionaries who marched together towards a future of independence, a dawn of freedom that many of them did not live to witness. Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India.
So as India celebrates its 79th Independence Day, the vibrancy in the air is undeniable and the optimism of the people palpable. Chairman of Prasar Bharati, India's public service broadcaster, Navneet Kumar Sehgal, hoisted the national flag in the premises of the Doordarshan Bhavan in New Delhi. On the occasion, Navneet Kumar Sehgal, Prasar Bharati chairman, appealed to the citizens to work towards building an economically and socially strong India.
हम सबका ये कर्तव्य है कि हम जो एक देश में एकता, देश में जो सद्भावना, देश के जो हमारे आज़ादी के वीर, आज़ादी के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम सेनानी थे, जिन्होंने क्या लक्ष्य लेकर लड़ाई लड़ी, आंदोलन किए, अपना जीवन कुर्बान किया, उन सबों को जो याद करते हुए उनके एक लक्ष्य की तरफ देश को बढ़ाने के लिए हम सब लोग जुटे हैं। और लोग सरकार के नाते हमें न केवल जन जन को सही सूचनाएं, सही खबरें पहुंचानी है, बल्कि उनमें एक देश की भावना को विकसित भारत 2047 तक बनाने के लिए, हमारी विरासत को उससे उठने के लिए, समाज को एकजुट रखने के लिए, ये सभी संदेश उन तक पहुंचाकर एक समर्थ, आर्थिक रूप से और सामरिक रूप से समर्थ देश बनाने में सब नागरिकों को सहयोग देने की अपील करें।
And global greetings are pouring in on the occasion of India's 79th Independence Day. Russian President Vladimir Putin sent his greetings to his Indian counterpart Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a social media post, Putin said, and I quote him here, India has achieved widely recognized success in socio-economic, scientific, technical and other fields. Your country enjoys well-deserved respect on the global stage and actively contributes to addressing key issues on the international agenda. We highly value our special privileged strategic partnership with India. I am confident that through our joint efforts, we will continue to expand constructive bilateral cooperation across multiple areas. This aligns fully with the interests of our friendly peoples and support the strengthening of security and stability, both regionally and globally. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reaffirmed the strength of the India-U.S. relationship while extending greetings to the people of India on 79th Independence Day. The U.S. Secretary of State in a statement highlighted the growing strategic partnership between the two countries. Rubio said in a statement released by the U.S. Department of State, on behalf of the United States, I extend our congratulations and warm wishes to the people of India as they celebrate their Independence Day on August 15th. Meanwhile, the U.S. Embassy in India has also marked the 79th Independence Day of India, highlighting the shared values and celebrations of the occasion. The U.S. Embassy in India stated in a post on X, Happy Independence Day, India. The United States joins India in celebrating this important occasion, honoring our shared achievements in advancing global peace and prosperity. We look forward to strengthening India-US partnership in the years ahead. Australia, along with Sri Lanka, extended warm greetings to India on the 79th Independence Day, with the foreign ministers from these nations reaffirming the deep and enduring partnerships shared with New Delhi. In a post on X, with a photograph of herself with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Australian Minister of Foreign Affairs Penny Wong extended greetings to the people of India and Indian communities on the occasion. She posted on X, and I quote, "Wishing my friend Dr. S. Jaishankar, the people of India and our Indian Australian communities a wonderful Independence Day. As we celebrate 5 years of our comprehensive strategic partnership with India, our relationship is stronger and more consequential than ever." 79th Independence Day of India was celebrated by the High Commission of India in Bangladesh on Friday. A large number of Indian community members took part in the celebration at the Chancery Building in Dhaka. Artists of Indira Gandhi Cultural Centre and members of the Indian community sang patriotic songs on the occasion. High Commissioner Pranay Verma hoisted the national flag and read out excerpts from the President's address to the nation. The celebrations were held with great patriotic fervour. The Assistant High Commissions of India in Sylhet, Khulna, Chattogram and Rajshahi also celebrated the day. India's Independence Day was celebrated with enthusiasm by the Indian community in Jakarta. The event began with the traditional flag hoisting ceremony followed by the national anthem. The celebration brought together hundreds of Indian expatriates, families and community members. Indian Ambassador Sandeep Chakraborty addressed the gathering and highlighted India's growing role and strengthening ties with Indonesia. As India celebrates its 79th year of independence, as we told you, the growing self-assurance in the citizens is palpable. DD India's Vishal Barrister spoke to the NCC cadets who had the chance to have a picture with the Prime Minister at the Red Fort today.
Behind me are these NCC cadets. They are fortunate enough to have a picture with the Prime Minister at the Red Fort. The Prime Minister came and also interacted with them. I have cadet.
Jai Hind everyone. I am Junior Under Officer Ritika Khes. I am from 1 Delhi Girls Battalion, and I am very honored to attend this very prestigious Independence Day camp. That was a 15-day camp with the final day of meeting our very dear Prime Minister.
How was the interaction with the Prime Minister?
It was very nice. It was so informative. His speech was so inspirational on how to be so dedicated and the hard work needed to make this country a full Viksit Bharat.
And what did he say to you?
He asked us to be motivated, high on Josh, and he asked us to say a slogan and motivate ourselves.
In this whole 15-day camp, we learn how to have self-control on ourselves and what the things we have to do when we have to enter army and other forces as well.
What inspiration did you draw from the Prime Minister's speech?
First of all, it was a great experience seeing our Honorable Prime Minister from this close. He is really a great motivator for all of us. The inspiration I got by seeing him from so close was that he always motivates. He keeps motivating us, the youth of the country, and we are proud that we have such an honorable Prime Minister. And being a youth of this country, we will always take this country on great heights.
The Prime Minister has said that let's make this country a prosperous country. I am with you. So what do you have to say about it?
As Sir said, Jai Hind everyone. I am 3rd Officer Jayanti Diwan, Associate NCC Officer from 1 Delhi Girls Battalion. You can see the voice of the nation. This is the youth of the nation. And Nari Shakti ho ya youth ki Shakti ho, wo kabhi kam nahi padegi. And as a trainer, as an Associate NCC Officer and my cadets, we are sure जो सर का मोटिव है वो हमारा साथ देंगे और हम उनका साथ देंगे. Can we have big
How's the Josh?
How's the Josh? See the Josh here. NCC cadets can say louder. How's the Josh?
The Josh is very high, and why not? India is still young at 79 and there is a long way to go. With cameraman Gaurav Giri in Delhi, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India, Red Fort.
On to the other big story of the day. Finally, there is going to be a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday. The anticipation of the outcome is quite high as US President Donald Trump boarded the plane to meet Vladimir Putin in Alaska. As Trump insisted that he would not be intimidated by the Russian leader on the eve of a high-stakes summit and said that Ukraine would be involved in any deal on its fate. Putin also flies to Alaska on Friday at the invitation of Trump. in his first visit to a Western country since its conflict with Ukraine in 2022 that has killed tens of thousands of people. And now let's take you to the special celebration underway at the Atari Wagah border, where the Border Security Force have organized this special celebration near Amritsar on the country's 79th Independence Day. Senior BSF officials were present on the occasion as the venue was specially decorated with colors of the Indian tricolour. Take a look. So a full house at the Atari Wagah border ceremony near Amritsar in Punjab. Well, the occasion is India's 79th Independence Day. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.